Welcome back. We got the car out of the trailer. She is back in the shop. Well, spin you guys all around. She's up on jack stands. We're getting ready to take the wheel off it right now. Letting it cool down a little bit because I did run it for a little bit. Battery was kind of dead, but she didn't want to start, so just want to let her warm up. But we're going to get the wheel off, get this turbo out, start mocking up our new turbo, our new exhaust. Jake's in the shop with me right now. He's going to hang out, give me a hand. For those of you that haven't seen though, our last video, we got that big gold truck, my daughter's Dodge, fixed and running. Backed it out last night, let her warm up for a while. I've been starting it and letting it run periodically just to make sure temperatures are all good. Daughter is actually out right now getting insurance and registration taken care of that so she can drive it around. Hopefully put some more miles on it before I go back to work. That way if anything happens, I'm here. So, but enough of that. Let's get this thing tore apart and start marking up some new parts. All right, exhaust is out. As you guys can see, oh, there it goes. There it is. It's right there. And I just want to do like kind of a little comparison. So I think it's really cool. When I put that turbo in, the first exhaust I had on it was 3-inch. And you know what? I figured I'd step it up 3.5. As silly as it sounds, I thought that was big compared to the outlet on the turbo. And then I bought this stuff for the new turbo. And you come down here, let's go to the tailpipe. As you guys can see there. And that's the old exhaust, and it just, I mean, it just swallows. And I could actually upsize this if I really needed to, but where the turbo is at right now, I'm kind of running out of room. And I'm going to show you that, guys, right now. As you've seen, I went ahead and set that turbo up there. She's not sitting flush on the flange. That is because I've got to trim a little bit out. I mean, it does come over a little bit farther. It does sit down farther, of course. It's just barely hitting right in here. So I got to hook it up and just kind of trim a little bit more of this out. Now, where this turbo is sitting is definitely going to ruin any chance I have of getting that thing to fit correctly. But that is okay. I'll tidy up a couple little things underneath here. I'll pull the hood hinges off. We'll run it without a hood for the time being because I do have plans. I have mentioned it before. I have other ideas I want to do with the front of this car, but I spent so much time building this to this point that I just want to get it to work. And I still am going through and I am collecting parts on a future build for this car. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fun. I'm getting excited about it. Not quite sure when I'll jump into that, but I have been saving parts and collecting things to do that. But before I can do all that, what I really want to do is just get this one to work. So I'm going to grab my old Dremel tool and cutoff wheel. We'll go ahead and clearance this up a little bit to get this turbo to fit. Make sure it bolts all the way down. Also, got to run to the hardware store too here shortly. I got to pick up another hole saw because I have a 4-inch exhaust with a 4-inch hole and, well, it doesn't quite fit. So I need to go get something. I could use a Dremel, but I want to try to open it up a little bit farther, go to like 4.5 or something, because I do plan on upgrading the exhaust in the future as well, or going larger. I have other plans, but we'll go and get another hole saw to get that opened up. But yeah, right now, get myself set up, clearance what I need to clearance, and we'll get that turbo bolted down. All right, as you can see, got the turbo in its place. Got a couple of the bolts in. I got the one back, well, you can't see it, but I got the one in the back corner here coming up. That one's in. These two are in. The only one I don't have in is this one. As you can see there, I do have the housing loose so I can turn it, orientate it correctly. But you can see it's right up against the shroud, which will be fine. I can loosen the radiator up and move it over to give me that little extra clearance right there. And I have the V-band on. As you can see, I had to come up to the top of the apron to give it clearance for the V-band, which is fine. Like I said before, I do have other plans for this car that do include cutting out these aprons and then doing some kind of 1-inch tubing in here to bring some of the support back in there. But that is on a future video, so I'm not too concerned on cutting the aprons up. Like I said, I'd probably go ahead and I just got so much time in this setup right now that I just want to get it going. But anyways, see up here too, like I said, I got the V-band on, and I have the first 90 for the exhaust, the 4-inch sitting up in there. Now, if I reach my hand up in there, I have roughly a 1/2 to 3/4 inch clearance between the top of the exhaust and the top of the fender right here. So which is fine, which is just a tad bit less than what the other one had. So I'm gonna go ahead and run with that right now. But now that I've got that sitting up in here, if I showed you guys earlier, our new 4-inch does not fit the 4-inch hole that's there. So I am gonna have to open that up a bit. Now I had 3.5 inch exhaust coming out this hole, and this is a 4-inch hole, so it gave me about 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch all the way around the pipe or the exhaust. So I want to do the same thing with the 4-inch. I'm going to go with a 4.5 inch hole, which after doing some measuring and stuff on the back side, that is as big as I can go without running into any other issues. At least where I have this exhaust mounted, and I really like this location. So, but if any of you out there have drilled or used a hole saw, cut out their initial hole, which is this guy right here. This is my 4-inch. It has a drill bit in there which helps pilot it. It helps center it up so you cut a straight hole. Now to go all the way around might be a little difficult. Now of course I'm going to 4.5, so that's a 1/4 inch more all the way around. I could mark it, scribe it, probably use a Dremel tool or a saw in there and carefully cut it out. But I went to the hardware store last night and picked up a 4.5 inch. Now, if any of you guys have bought this style or this brand from Lowe's, then you know it's got the little bit in there, and it comes with a really fat washer on the backside. So I was looking at it last night, and I figured, why would if I took the washer out, put the hole saw directly to the bit there, and then used my 4-inch hole saw, screwed it into the top. I'll show you guys here, kind of threading it back in. Now if you see there, it sticks out. So that in theory should help me center up this hole saw in this hole to allow me to take out the extra 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch all the way around. The hole saw itself is not going to walk all over the place because it's going to use the internal as the pilot now. Instead of using the drill bit like it did initially, we'll use the 4-inch hole saw as the pilot for my 4.5 inch. Fingers crossed. I haven't tried it yet. You guys are going to witness and see if it's going to work or not. So I'll get the camera set up and we'll see if this actually works. It should, but let's see how well it works on cutting out the rest of or making my hole bigger. Whew. All right, well, figured I'd fast forward a little bit, give you guys a shot of what's going on. I did a bunch of measuring, kind of saved you guys from all that, because to sit and actually find angles and try to get everything to line up can be time consuming. So I went ahead and saved you. I've just been sitting here measuring, cutting, show you guys what I got going on right now. So there's the exit. As you can see, I'm using my trusty cardboard to help give me a nice even gap all the way around. It is tacked into place, going up. I just use my MIG welder, cut the angles, tack it together. Now I am using, get back here a little bit. Now there's two different kinds of pipe, as you guys can see. One's polished, one's not. That's what happens when I start looking for the cheapest stainless on eBay. That's what I came up with. I figured, you know what, we'll get it all TIG welded together after I run it for a little bit. Probably won't notice. It's all going to turn that neat little gold color anyways eventually. And right now, going ahead and got a new flex joint on the wastegate. Got another piece of stainless 2.5. I need to cut and measure to tie into the exhaust. Hopefully have that done here shortly. My plan is to get everything mocked up right now, get all the exhaust mocked up. I would love to hear this thing fire up before the end of this video, so that's what I'm shooting for. And and using my original hole saw as the pilot for the new 4.5-inch hole saw. It works as long as you're trying not to get it done really, really quick. I mean, it did, as you guys can see here. It cut it. Did really good. It doesn't like doing multi-layers, but of course, even when you're initially cutting the hole, it doesn't like multi-layer. Like if you're going into bumps, like I went through the fender, part of the rocker, and then I had to go through the backside of the inner shield. So it doesn't like doing all those at once, but take your time with it. It worked great. So, but enough of that. I'm gonna go ahead and get myself set up, get that thing measured out. That way we can get the exhaust back out of the car and get everything welded up. Alright, it is the next day. I ended up staying up late last night. Got everything cut, back in the car, mocked up, as you guys can see, and tacked into place. Wanted to give you guys just like a little side-by-side comparison of the new exhaust versus the old. As you can see, it still covers pretty much the same shape. I mean, the only thing that changed is the size of the exhaust. A couple of the bends aren't as drastic because they're just, the pipe's large It's hard to get those the tight bends, so I had to kind of move things, shift it just a little bit, but other than that, pretty much the same design. You can also see too, I think I mentioned it maybe, but yeah, there's two different style pipes. One's polished, one's not. So, but you know, after it's in the car, welded up in the car and ran for a while, you'll never know. But got it set here on the table. Oop, there it is. It's all set up on the table. Pulled my welder out so I can get to my TIG. Now I'm just going to get myself set up. Finish welding up this exhaust. Get it back in the car. I still have to pull the turbo off because I'm going to use the back housing to tighten up against the flange there. Make sure to keep from warping it. So, but yeah, I'll get the turbo off the car, get it bolted up to our new exhaust, get the welder set up, get this thing welded up and put back in the car. All right, exhaust is all welded up, ready to go back on. Got the little flex joint for our wastegate, as you guys can see. Still, I mean, you know, like I've said before, they aren't the prettiest welds in the world, but they are better than the last exhaust I did. On this one, I even gone ahead and added a bracket here to bolt to the pinch weld underneath the car. Help the exhaust stay still. The other one did not have a mount. It was just on the mounted on the turbo, and I had the end of it kind of resting in the hole of the fender. It's fine for a little while, but after it warmed up and the heat and everything would kind of move, it would shift a little bit and just kind of rattle on the fender, drive you nuts. But I've also gone ahead and put the turbo back together and put it back in the car. It is mounted to our T4 flange. Charge pipes are hooked up. Oil feed and drain are hooked up. So now the only thing I got to do is get the exhaust in the car, get it bolted up, get the O2 sensor hooked up, and then we can hear this, and we can hear what it sounds. Hear this thing fire up, see what kind of difference it made. So yeah. Let me get the camera set up, put the exhaust in, and we'll get this thing, we'll get it started up. Exhaust is in. Tight. Cool. Everything's tight. See what we got. Got ourselves just a tad bit of an exhaust leak here. Let's see if I can. Fix it. That little guy here is just sitting in the wrong spot. Yep. Too far. All right. Try that again. Too soon, too soon. Fire back up again. Doesn't like revs being thrown at it until it's warmed up, which is fine. Keeps me on it, keeps me from throwing revs at it. Sounds good. I'm happy with it. Still has a tiny bit, tiny bit exhaust leak there. But that shouldn't be a problem to fix. Go ahead and shut this thing down. But got our turbo in. First of many upgrades. Got the turbo, got the exhaust in. Like I said, it still has a small little leak, but my clamp, my V-band clamp is kind of hitting the relief of where the fender was because I moved the turbo over just a little bit to give me some clearance between it and the radiator. So there's a little bit of movement I gotta do there, but other than that, she's in. Sounds good. I'm excited. So next video, I'm hoping to tackle our 8.8, start re-gearing that thing, getting it ready to put underneath this car. Figure out what I need, what kind of other parts I need to order. But I'm going to end this video right here. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed. It's been a whole lot of fun really building this car and hanging out with you guys and being able to show you what I've done. Like I said, this is all learning to me. This is the second turbo build I've ever done, so I'm learning as I go. But it is a lot of fun. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are new to the channel or new to just just showing up and just watching this video for the first time, please hit that subscribe button for me. Share with your friends. Do not forget to turn on notifications for future videos. And I know I've been saying it before, but I would love to do a 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So within the next video or two, I will be announcing the prize that I will be giving away. It's taken me a little while, but I think I've come up with something good to that'll help benefit anybody, because you know, not everybody's got a turbo build, not everybody's got a Ford Mustang or anything like that. Everybody could be just hanging out watching because they enjoy the content or want to see what's going on, but they could be doing something else. They'd be working on many other projects, from go-karts, dirt bikes, mini bikes, cars, trucks, you name it. So what I think I've come up with is a good compromise to anybody out there. So make sure you hit that notification to stay tuned for the next video. I do want to thank you guys again for hanging out. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll catch you on the next one. Say bye, Benjamin.
Bye.
Yeah.